talk a bit.
This is Nicole with Healthy Pet. I'm talking about CBD oil today. This topic can get into a lot of gray area, so hopefully I'm going to use an analogy that everybody can understand. It's a cooking analogy because I like to cook and it makes it easier for me to understand. So to start off with, CBD is found in both hemp and in marijuana, and they're very closely related plants. Some people consider them brother-sister plants, male, female, etc. But in any case, one has THC in high doses, one has THC in low doses. Okay, so anytime that we're talking about CBD that can be sold in a retail setting, not in a medical marijuana dispensary, we are always going to be talking about hemp and a hemp-based product. There are other products that are made with hemp but don't have CBD or obviously don't have THC. So there's Wet Noses biscuits that uses hemp seed. There's hemp well omega oils for essential fatty acids as an alternative to fish oil, or a more bioavailable form of vegetarian oil as opposed to flaxseed oil. So these are different types of products that are hemp-based but have no CBD and obviously no THC. So when we get into CBD and THC, in marijuana-based CBD products, it can have a THC content up to 20% by dry weight. And in hemp-based products, it can have no more than 0.3% by dry weight volume. That is the huge difference, again, between hemp-based and marijuana-based CBD. And again, we are always going to be talking about hemp-based in our products. The cooking analogy. So if we just pick a random herb like rosemary, rosemary is fine by its own, but it doesn't do much by itself. That could be considered like the CBD isolate. It's okay. It has its functions, but it's not nearly as useful as it is in a side of a blend. If we get a salt-free herbal blend, that's pretty good, has a lot more robust flavor, but it might be missing just that little extra pizzazz, and that's what that salt adds to it, and that salt could be considered the THC. So while I said that there's the big difference in the amount of THC in the marijuana-based versus the hemp-based, the hemp-based can have, again, up to 0.3%, and that little bit of salt gives that extra full broad spectrum. And then again, in that analogy, it's not just rosemary or the CBD, and it's not just that little bit of salt or the legally allowed amount of THC, but it's that whole blend of other things that are in that herbal mix that make it so tasty to use in cooking, where it can have garlic and onion and maybe carrot and parsley and all sorts of different additives to that blend. That is what a full spectrum CBD product has in it. It's not just the CBD isolate, so it's not just the rosemary, but it has everything else in it too, and those other things are other types of cannabinoids and terpenes and other things that I can't necessarily pronounce, and that's why we call it THC and CBD, because it's a lot of letters and unique combinations. So that's a quick analogy that made it easier for me to understand, and I hope that it makes it easier for you to understand. But you can always come in, ask us questions, comment on this video, and we can better explain it a little bit further. Okay, so from there, CBD, we'll just use that in the general term to be that whole herb mix that has just that little bit of salt to give it a full spectrum. That is fat soluble, meaning that it needs to be assimilated with some fat to it to get into the blood system to do the things that it can do that are beneficial. And we'll go into what's beneficial in just a few minutes. So a lot of them will be preserved in coconut oil is a very popular one. Sometimes they'll use olive oil or other types of oils, but we like the coconut oil. That's pretty nice, easy way of doing it. From there, you want to give it the quickest way into the bloodstream, and that generally means putting it underneath the tongue of your pet. So very easy to administer. There are different types of guidelines on how much to give on all of these products, but that said, you can adjust as needed for your pet. So we always recommend going with the dose that's recommended, and from there you can cut back or increase as needed. Okay, and again with the CBD, it has the oils. Companies do also make these products in capsules, in fat-soluble capsules, and generally speaking, we like the liquid because it's easier to administer for most people, and you're not paying for that extra step to have your product put into a capsule to give to your dog. It's a little bit more economical to just go with the straight liquid. It also gives you that ability to slightly change the dose a little bit more or a little bit less as needed. So we can always get the capsules, but this is why we prefer the just liquid droppers. It also comes in a treat form. The treat form is not going to be as therapeutically effective as the full dose. This is nice where if your pet needs the CBD and you're giving these and you just want to help bolster the amount that you're given, or if you're giving for like a thunderstorm or fireworks as we're coming into summer season and people start being very noisy and rowdy, and you've already given the dose of this and you just want to give your dog just that little extra boost, you can give them the treat to help fortify, so to speak, the CBD oil that you've already given. Okay, so that's going into forms and how it's assimilated into the body, the difference between hemp-based CBD and marijuana-based CBD. But from there, you'll see a ton of CBD products, and maybe you've tried different CBD products. I know that we've brought in multiple CBD products here with a varying amount of price range, some that are very inexpensive and some that are a lot more expensive. And you're like, what's the difference? What works? What doesn't work? The other big difference between hemp-based CBD and a marijuana-based CBD is that a marijuana CBD, which again, no retail store can carry, it is regulated. The marijuana-based CBD is completely regulated. It has to go under all these tests and scrutiny, and they have to verify the product that it is what they say it is. Hemp-based CBD falls under the FDA and what is considered a supplement. And a big thing with the supplement industry is you don't always get what it is that you think you're getting, and companies can be a little bit less than ethical and not have everything that they promise that they're going to have. And that's going to be the big difference that we find in the quality of the product and how effective it is for your pet. It is a matter of testing and what's actually in there, and companies not always being as transparent on their label as you might hope that they are. So through trial and error, lots of trial and error of trying different things in customers' dogs and our and staff's dogs and what actually works and is effective. Right now we've found that the Canapet product and the M&M Naturals are the most recommended in our area as of the right now. We're always looking for additional to have for slightly different formulas or slightly different modes of giving to your dog, whether it's a treat or the liquid or the capsule, whatever. We're always looking in for other options, but again, these are the two that are most effective right now. With M&M specifically, he tests all of his product for it having what he says it has in it, and he does update that on his website regularly, and that, I believe, is one of the reasons why his product works a lot better than other similarly priced products that I kept giving it and giving it and giving it, and I didn't feel I got any results. And it comes back to, again, there's very little regulation on the supplement industry, which means very little regulation on hemp-based CBD, and it's knowing the company and finding the companies that actually test their product by third-party tests. And again, this company does. So we really, really like this particular one. Some other things, I'll just have a little note. CBD, what does it do? So CBD is sometimes referred to as like this magic snake oil, and that's two parts. One, like a snake oil that doesn't work. You want a product that is tested. And two, snake oil in that it treats everything. People use it for lots of different things, between anti-inflammatory or anxiety. It runs a huge gamut, but main things that it does: anti-inflammatory, it can help lessen pain. So joint pain, pain from any sort of medical issues, acute medical issues, or long-lasting chronic medical issues. Sorry. CBD can help with both of those, and it also can help with inflammation in the body, in the heart, and inflammation in tissues. So people will use this in conjunction with any sort of cancer treatments that they might be using for their pets. It can be used to reduce inflammation associated with allergies. And that does not mean that it treats allergies specifically, but some people can find it to be effective as opposed to using a steroid. Again, this is trying different types of products and finding what's most effective for your dog. So we're not by any means saying use this instead of the steroids. You have to use what's best for your dog in any particular situation. But again, anti-inflammatory, good for heart health, good for eye health. It can also be used for anxiety. We have lots of clients here who will buy CBD oil for anxiety for their pets, whether, again, it's a chronic anxiety issue of just like massive separation anxiety, or it's more the acute situations. There's thunderstorms, there's fireworks, there's a party going on downstairs. Whatever the situation is, people can use this also for the anxiety. One of the first uses for hemp-based CBD was for seizures, epilepsy. So if your dog has seizures, that is a fantastic use for CBD oil, and finding that a therapeutic amount for your pet to reduce the amount of seizures that your dog may suffer from. Other things it can help with, I already mentioned allergies. It can help with appetite, autoimmune disorders, bone marrow health, brain regulation. As I said, working with cancer, they have started doing studies with medical CBD, marijuana-based CBD, as far as cancer treatments. We're not there yet with the hemp-based CBD, but again, it can reduce the inflammation, and it can help with the appetite, for loss of appetite with cancer, or with just the pain associated with it, so reducing the pain. Depression and digestive issues, fatty tumors, glaucoma, immune system boost, inflammation, liver problems, lung issues, metabolism. I mean, the list keeps going on. It can help with urinary tract issues, again, based off of the inflammation, spinal issues, pancreas, pancreatic issues. So all of this is different things that these products can be used for. We do have a more comprehensive list, but basically it's something where if you can try it, see if it works, this product will work if it's going to work. If any CBD is going to work, these ones will, again, because they are tested by a third-party independent facility, that it actually has the CBD content that it's talking about, that they are full spectrum, have no more than what's the legally allowed amount of the THC. And let's say that you did have the opportunity to get the medical medical grade marijuana, THC, CBD oil, you would not want to give that product to your pet anyways, because that THC is not good for your pet and can cause other types of issues that would be considered a medical emergency for your pet if they were being given the CBD that is infused with the full amount of THC. So stick with the hemp-based for your pets. That legally allowed amount of THC completes the full spectrum aspect of it to give you the most amount of benefits that is bioavailable to your pet by using the CBD. Okay, so again, went over hemp, non-CBD based, CBD, hemp-based, and the difference between this and your medical marijuana THC, and your effectiveness as to why this is effective compared to some other products that might be less expensive or just as expensive but just a different company. It's due to the regulations that are or are not present in supplement industry. So if you have any questions, again, feel free to come in, respond to this video, and we can address those questions that you may have. And otherwise, a healthy pet. Your dog loves you, we love your dog, and we hope to see you both in soon.